Hey, this is Spiffy Vengeance, and I'm reporting for the Heikadelic show. In behind me, you can see the war of the worlds going on as we speak. It's amazing. It's a light show. It's over the Pickering, Darlington nuke plant, but we're not sure what's going on. We think it's aliens, because if you watch, we've been watching this for almost an hour now, and the light show is incredible. What we thought was just a storm appears to be possibly alien invading the Durham region. This is Stiff.
How's it going, guys?
She's so scary.
Oh, Stiffy Vengeance.
Oh my God! Nice to see you guys again, man.
Yeah,
You
must be
too,
Monday.
you too. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, good. Well, it's been 2 weeks because last week we didn't have a show because of our wonderful Facebook tragedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We all survived, though.
Yeah, we're all here. Isn't that funny, eh? I heard so much commotion about that. Oh my God, Facebook's down. I can't go do my shit, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, we're here. Nothing's changed.
We are. Another week.
Except our buddy, Mr. Johnny Ringo, is not feeling so good today. So hopefully he pops in. If not, that's why. He's under the weather.
He said he's going to try to, so I'll just keep a lookout for him.
Keep an eye out for him. Yeah.
So I'm going to be Johnny tonight.
Johnny tonight.
Again.
Johnny tonight. There you go. Yeah. Nice handle.
Yeah. By the way, Heiko, I just want to, because it's Halloween season, I just want to, bring up your hat again. That's a beautiful hat you're wearing.
Isn't that awesome? Hey.
Yeah. We just
Look
got
at
some
that.
new hats in, so we'll be making some new ones.
Are you? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. New merch is just coming in. We got our new shirts in and a bunch of stuff.
When you get them, send me a picture. I want to see what your shirts look like.
Yeah.
I'll probably get one of those.
We'll have them waiting for you.
Well, I gotta promote my guys, right?
Oh yeah,
like I know this is my band, but yes.
I suggested that they bring this one back because honestly, this is like my favorite shirt.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Right? Yeah, look at the hot rod and the monsters and everything, right? So that's kind of stuff I'm into.
I would wear that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a shout out here because it's Halloween time to my boys in the Filthy Radicals. They a great band, great ska band, Party Boys. Yeah, man.
Filthy Radicals. That's a cool handle too.
Yeah. It is. Great guys. They got horns and everything, right?
Yeah.
So great band. Another Toronto band.
Like actual instrument horns or like car horns and bicycle horns?
Yeah. No. Definitely a brass section.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I really like hearing that sometimes. Like bands will throw in instruments you don't really hear much anymore.
Right.
Yep. Like a sax or a piano or a horn of some kind. Like it's cool. I like it.
Yeah. No, I love it. Change it.
I knew someone that just had a piano and they couldn't get anyone to take it out of their house for free.
Wow.
Nobody.
You know how much those weigh?
Yeah. Well, they wound up getting a couple of big buddies together and they picked it up and took it outside and threw it on the bonfire. The whole fucking thing.
And then you got the big panel left over though, right? Big metal.
Yeah, well, all the wires and all the little things. But that's sad, eh? When you hear that.
It is.
Mm.
Nobody will even take one for free.
Wow.
I tried getting rid of it for them, but nobody wants it.
You could find them all over the place too. Just go look on the marketplaces and stuff and all your buy and sells. They're everywhere. Come and pick it up, please.
I remember the day they used to be always near the front door of the house. They'd be like in the front lobby or the next room or something. And if you had a piano, you were something, right?
Yeah.
Wow, how things change.
It is. That would be a 70s thing, right? I'm guessing because I'm trying to. The last time my buddy's dad, who their last name was Hammond, and it was a Hammond organ he had. You know that one with all the buttons and the 2 layers and.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, man. But that thing was right when you walked in, right beside the front door, off to the living room. There it was, beautiful,
unbelievable.
And you played all the drum beats before you knew what they were, and Look, you can do the salsa.
Well, I'm glad to see you guys, and I'm glad our listeners and viewers are out there. So I want to throw a toast out there, George. Can you help me out?
I'll see what I can do. Let's see.
All right.
This might work.
Cheers, everybody.
One banana, two banana, three banana, four.
I still remember the whole thing because I used to watch that show when I was a kid every Saturday morning. Oh yeah.
I ran into it a few years ago. Just heard it somewhere, right? I think there was a band called the Dickies that covered it, a punk band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they did.
And,
the Dickies.
I think that's where I heard it. And then, once you hear something like that, you got to investigate. But that was just a little before my time, right? I remember like some of the cartoons that they had on, because all the cartoons back then were basically the same thing, just different characters, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's funny. I went to a birthday party about 15 years ago, and the guy whose birthday it was, he always liked the Banana Splits too. So, I used to make CDs for people with tunes on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I put the Banana Splits theme song on the first song on his CD, and when he put that in the stereo, he lost his mind. It was so funny.
Yeah. Right on.
So what cartoons do you remember, Derek? Because you're younger than.
Okay, I'm gonna remember Rocket Robin Hood.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey Toot. Was that Hercules?
Yes, it was Hercules.
Right.
Yeah.
And every 10 feet, the animal would do the exact same noise, no matter whether it was a winged animal, blue fire, whatever. Just.
Yep.
But it just was like all the cartoons were the same. It's like, let's get him, Herc, and they had to run somewhere and pass the same tree 18 times. And
Yeah. Oh.
And then they had that. What was that? It was a race of some sort. There was like monsters had cars, and chicks had they had all these weird cars and stuff, and it was always a race.
There was one where it was like all of them, wasn't it? It was all the Hanna-Barbera guys.
Yeah.
Didn't they also have the dog too? Remember the blue dog with the guitar?
That was Huckleberry Hound.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wacky races. Oh, here we go.
See, you know what? And anybody out there now that's
Mr. 0999.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Anyone out there watching or listening that's 25 years old or younger, they're going, "What are these guys talking about?"
Yeah.
I mean,
the
funny thing is, I can't take adult cartoons. I've never really seen The Simpsons properly. I don't know what it is.
The longest running TV show, let alone cartoon.
I know. It's a crazy thing to say. I've seen dribs and drabs, but I've never actually watched it all the whole show, and then watched the next one the next week. Whatever. I've never done that. The kids used to have it on in the background.
I never really got that much into The Simpsons, but I got into South Park.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got my son. I hope my girlfriend isn't listening. I just got my son into Mr. Hanky, right? We went out to a trampoline park on the weekend and on Saturday, right? Saturday morning. So we went to this trampoline park, and we got there a little bit early after his soccer was canceled, right? So we got there early, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, can we watch the Christmas Pooh?" Right? So I put on every Mr. Hanky. We got them all, and then there were some of them like, damn, I shouldn't have put that on. But
I actually had a stuffed Mr. Hanky, and I had it hanging from the mirror in my car.
I have one right now. It's about 10 inches long, and I've also got a small one that's a keychain.
Oh, nice!
I've got that hanging from by my stereo or where my phone goes. Right, I got that hanging from there.
Right on.
So George never got into cartoons. What?
Mr. 999 said it's the wacky races.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I kept seeing Rocky and Bullwinkle. The guy, I don't know if you guys would remember Rocky and Bullwinkle. Remember
yeah.
And Natasha and the guy in the black coat all the time.
What's the religious one? Davy and Goliath.
Hey, Davey. Yes. The claymation one. Yeah, I used to watch that too. That's with the blockheads.
with the blockheads. Well, blockheads when you stick stuff in your nose like Red does.
Yeah, but see, that's the funny thing.
Pink Panther was.
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, I used to watch the Pink. I'd like run home from school to see the Pink Panther because it was on at like 3:30.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Gumby.
Yeah.
I didn't ever get to see Gumby. Tell you the truth, that
No?
was a little out of my. That was a little too new.
Gumby and Pokey.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What actually really started getting me into cartoons and stuff when I was younger was Tom and Jerry.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry. Although the first one I remember watching like kind of repetitively was Chilly Willy. Chilly Willy the penguin, a shaking till I'm blue. My head is off, my feet are cold. He hit you. Yeah. Anyways, that was got me into watching every day. You know what I mean? Like
Huckleberry Hound. It was like you know when Bugs Bunny has different characters, and you know, in the show, and they'll have two or three different ones.
Yeah.
Well, Huckleberry Hound used to do that as well, and he had Yogi Bear was one of them. And Pixie and Dixie, who was and Mr. Jinx, which is basically Tom and Jerry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was himself as well, of course.
Yeah.
Very Hound. I can't remember, he used to sing something. Yankee Doodle Dandy was he's always playing his banjo.
What was oh my God! What was the guy who was in the Rocket? Not Rocket. Roger Ramjet. Yeah. He's our man, hero of our nation.
Yep.
Roger Ramjet. Yeah.
Wow.
But see, that was a time when people had time on the weekends. So Friday nights, the adults always got together, had parties, got hammed up.
Yep.
So 6 o'clock in the morning, the kids get up on Saturday and you flick the TV on and you had cartoons till noon, like all morning.
Mm-hmm.
Just so the kids
don't have that anymore.
So they didn't get beat.
Yeah. That's just not the way it is anymore. Kids don't have that. It's a shame.
Yeah.
When I was growing up in England, we didn't really have Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, no?
That came a lot later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is it true that everybody in England watches Coronation Street?
A lot of people do. Yeah. It's unbelievable, really. I mean, it's. I mean, a lot of people say it's absolutely terrible, but they still watch it for some reason, right?
Oh.
Is it just like a soap opera, or is it like reality almost?
Well, I've not seen it for years and years and years, but yeah, it's just about these characters who live in a certain street. There's a pub at one end of it and a corner shop at the other end of it, and there's murders and there's everything goes on in this one street. It's amazing, you know what I mean? It's been going since '62, I think.
Yeah, and I think my aunt has watched every one of them.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I remember the very first one. I can remember that, and then I used to watch it. Yeah, I can remember it quite well, actually. Yeah, 62, I think. Yeah, it was on once a week, like Friday. I think it started on Fridays at 7:30. Then it went to like 2 nights a week, like a Wednesday and a Friday.
Yeah,
and I think now it's on every day, so it's like 5 days a week.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's got to be tough to write something new for it, but yeah.
Yeah, during the week when we had when we were young, we had the before dinner cartoons and TV shows for kids, really, right?
Yeah.
We had the Pink Panther, you had Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
You know.
What was the Fantasy Island too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Get Smart.
The plane.
Get Smart.
Get Smart. That was on at 5:30, just before dinner, you know.
Well, just going back to Coronation Street. The Coronation Street was filmed at Granada TV Studios in Manchester.
Uh-huh.
And like in the 60s, I mean, you know, when there was like pop shows, these half-an-hour pop shows they used to do and put them out at 5 o'clock. And they'd have like whoever was big on at the time on the day would come and be live, you know, and they'd have 2 like live bands and all that.
Yeah.
And we used to get tickets to go to all these shows, right? We used to go.
Yeah.
The one was called Lift Off, and the other one was something else. And we used to get because it's just complimentary, right? So we used to go get off school early because they'd be recorded at 5 o'clock and go out the following week, kind of thing. And there was one time, there was a couple of us, we went to one of these. We come out and we went sort of, well, let's have a look around Granada, you know, because by this time it's like 6:30, because obviously, you know, they'd record a bit, and then they'd edit it all together for the half an hour, but it took longer than that.
Yeah.
So it's like 6:30 or something like that. And we're in Granada TV studios, we're like 15, 16, whatever it was. Let's have a look around, right? So it's got, all these Studio A and B. And once at Coronation Street, yeah, let's have a look in there. And it said, whatever the sign said, it's like filming and the red light on.
Yeah.
Of course, like we look in and we're like, oh, it's Lem Fairclough. There was a guy called Lem Fairclough. He had like a builder's yard, and he had these two big gates at the yard. That was like the backdrop to whenever there was scenes there, right? And
Okay.
like a big black and white mural that looked like you're looking at rooftops.
Right.
We went into the gap between the gates and this mural, right? I was sticking our heads around the gate door. Right? And you hear, oi, get those kids out of there. You know what I mean? Shot all the recording. So we got escorted out of the building.
Yeah. The good old days, right?
So I did actually appear on Coronation Street, but it hit the editing room floor, though, I guess. So there you go.
Wow.
So Mr. brought up Gilligan's Island. Now I have a question.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Marianne or Ginger?
Oh,
Ginger.
Ginger. So
No hesitation.
What about you, Hike?
it was a toss up for me. I couldn't make up my mind. Yeah, I'd like Ginger for a bit, and then I go, Marianne's pretty damn hot, though.
Well, that was it. Ginger, I liked off the bat.
Yes, I did too. But as they aged, Marianne.
No, as I aged.
No, as they aged, Marianne always looked good, right?
Yeah.
Ginger got pretty old pretty quick.
Like the wholesome country girl. Me being, I grew up on a farm, so I kind of always wanted the high class lady there, like Ginger,
the movie star.
And then I was like, no, you got to stick with the one that's going to stay good.
Yeah. Yep. You got it.
I'm shallow. I'm just shallow.
Speaking of old shows, do any of you guys remember Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I grew up on a farm, and we literally had 4 channels, 5 when it was clear and it was winter, right?
Right.
So at night, when I finished doing our chores and stuff and ate and everything, I would watch Golden Girls, and then what the hell, The Lawyer?
A lawyer?
Oh my God, Perry Mason.
Okay.
Perry Mason and The Fugitive.
Oh,
okay.
That was the three shows I would watch before I went to sleep. And the last one you have to turn down real quiet so your parents don't hear it on your 13-inch black and white TV.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hide that under your sheets.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, Richard Kimball. I used to love that every week.
Yeah.
And the number of theories people had, the best one I think I remember was about that, because Lieutenant Gerard was the guy after him all the time, right?
Yeah.
And he said at the end, I can't remember who was, because people just speculating how it's going to end. And Gerard finally catches him, gets up with him, and then they're in the same room, and they have a fight, and his arm comes off. And Gerard is the one-armed man that killed his wife, really.
Yeah.
So that would have been a good ending, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr.
Oh, there we go. Addams Family, Munsters.
No, but okay. Well, but I think this is actually another one that you can call. Are you an Addams Family or a Munsters guy? Now, I don't know if you know, Mister. I play drums in a horror themed band. So for me, I'm a Munsters guy. I like the Addams, but I'm going for the Munsters.
I like the Munsters too.
If the Munsters would have done better if they weren't so cheap and they actually would have used color, right?
Yeah, but they started at a time where there wasn't any color.
Yeah.
No, they did not. Their very first episode, their pilot was actually done in color, but then to save money, they did it in black and white.
No way! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, we only had the black and white TV back then, so
yeah, it didn't matter to us.
Yeah. But to just show you how shallow I am, Munsters or Addams Family, I liked them both, but Morticia would just like, oh no, hang on, I like Morticia the best.
Yeah.
Addams Family would get my vote for that one. So
Nice.
I'm getting shallow.
That's okay.
No. Hey,
Yeah.
Okay, well, George.
Yeah.
Speaking of being shallow.
Yeah.
How's your backside?
My backside is lovely. It's down here.
George's backside.
Did you hear that earlier? I burped and his album fell over.
All right, blew it over.
Backside blew over. Pretty good for a hair lip and no teeth.
Blew it. Yeah. Oh, Mr. 0999. He's more of an Addams Family guy. There you go. He probably likes Morticia too. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, there we go.
Wait a second, George. I know this one.
Mm.
All
right. Anybody watching or listening?
I know
this. Send your guess.
I can picture it.
That's the backside of the album cover. What's the front? What's the name of the band?
I've had to block this out here.
I guess so.
It's rather large. It'll give it away, you see.
Uh-huh.
All right. So any offers on that one?
Yeah.
Let's see if somebody can guess that. That's cool.
1970s.
Oh my God. No, I know that one. Now it's bothering me, George.
Oh, good. That's the idea.
Figure it out. Give us your guess.
Oh, thank you, mister.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not quite even a podcast because we're live, so
that's
man.
Right. Yeah.
That's always
coming up. We're going to have a guest coming up at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right? We are today we are I want to introduce him yet?
No, it's not 10 o'clock. I'm just saying.
His name is Ryan Izzard. He owns the Farm Studios in London, Ontario. Because it is Halloween and we are kind of getting into the spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
We're going to talk a little bit of Misfits. A couple of members, myself and Matt. Well, go ahead, George.
So anybody that's just stumbled across us for the first time, don't get bored with us because we've got somebody really interesting coming on. so don't switch away just yet. So that's why we
don't put that kind of pressure on Ryan.
No, but I'm just saying, it's not just us 3 till 11 o'clock. Just in case anyone.
Yeah, he's sitting in the green room going, "Oh my God, am I interesting? What am I got to do?"
Hey, listen.
Yeah. Oh man, pressure's on
Addams
now.
Family or the Munsters. Come on, anyone can be more interested than that.
Whoa, no, George. Now you're getting carried away here. Okay.
Right.
So what was the on the Munsters? I can't even remember her name. I want to say Mary Ann. What was the good looking?
Yeah.
The blonde.
Yeah,
the
blonde.
super hot
that
one
was
who was like, oh, she can't find a man. Too bad, right?
Yeah, she was good looking.
She brought a guy home. Oh yeah. There was 2 of them they had. The first one was like super hot, and the second one was like super hot too.
Yeah,
I remember one.
And that was it a cousin or something because they were kind of they were normal. And then they would bring guys. Right? Yeah, they bring guys to the house, and everybody would freak out and run away.
Oh man,
brilliant! It's just there's crazy times. I mean, brilliant.
Well, what an idea though, right? Like have them like monsters thinking like everybody else is kind of crazy, you know what I mean? And there's a normal one.
She goes to college, she's good looking, she's a freak, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to put up with her, that's where she lives.
Yeah, they always felt bad for her, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm looking for it.
But see, and Mr. 99, he mentioned earlier, I Dream of Jeannie, I think he said.
Oh, yeah.
Marilyn Munster.
Marilyn Munster, yeah. And they're like the Dick Van Dyke Show, Leave It to Beaver, like all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the first one was the first Marilyn Munster was Beverly Owen, and then the second one was Pat Priest.
Okay.
I'll have to see them. I just can't. I keep seeing. You know what I keep seeing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That didn't work so well, but
talking of like the nice one in the family. Do you remember what she called in the Beverly Hillbillies?
Oh yeah,
not Marianne. Was it Marianne?
Well, the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I don't remember.
Yeah, she was like the hot girl in that one as well.
Yeah.
Is it Marianne or something like that? Was the name?
It was, I think.
Yeah. So I guess they used to put those in just, into all these shows that,
well, they had a little bit of everything for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Well, what was the one wholesome show that I used to remember watching? Ellie Mae was her name.
Ellie Mae.
The one wholesome show I remember watching, who a guy ended up turning out to be quite the D-bag, was Little House on the Prairie. Michael Landon. Apparently, he was just a nightmare to work with.
Yeah. And there was stuff near the end of the show or after the show. He was on the news a few times too, because he was quite the quite the piece of crap.
To one of the girls who was on it, Dana. She was talking on the Howard Stern show and she died. She wasn't. She was from Silver Spoons?
Oh,
what was her name now? Oh my God. Dana was her real name in real life. Dana. I'm trying to remember whether it was Silver Spoons or something like that. She was the girl. And what one was oh my God!
Here we go. We got a show reminiscing about old TV
Gary
shows.
Coleman. What show was Gary Coleman on? Wasn't Silver Spoons, because that was Ricky Schroeder. Oh my God!
Don't know.
But it was the sister there, that the girl who was there, right?
Yeah.
Dana was her name, and she ended up dying on the talking on the Howard Stern show, and then dying hours after it.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Wow. I noticed Mr. 0999 mentioned Batman. Now there's a classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, unbelievable.
60s Batman, all-time favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when it started, I was really disappointed because I was into Batman, right? Reading the comics, and so this is a bit goofy. But then once you got into it, you kind of got the first 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, what's this?
From the comics, though, did you feel like Batman was more like he is now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. He
was a little darker.
Now he's a big raw phantom.
Oh, now he's really dark. Really, really dark. Yeah.
Hey, so our guest is probably in the green room going, I want to talk about all this stuff too.
That's right.
Well, no, if he was, I would mention it. He's not in here yet. I told him to come on. Oh, when I try, I can't recognize my mic on computer. I will try on. It says StreamYard app, but there's no doubt. Hey Ryan, if you're listening, I'll resend it to you, buddy.
Yep.
He's
having technical issues.
Yes. Okay, so
there's a lot of that going around now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna our new electronic world.
Okay, I'll resend it, and then I will tell him to send me his email, and I can send it to him in email.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the way it works. The best for me, if you're using your cell phone, it's better getting an email instead of something in Messenger.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't give you the actual link in Messenger. It gives you the link to the software company.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Oh.
Batman just fell into the mat. Oh, hey, well, wait a second. Look at who we have here already. Look at that. Hey, Ryan, how's it going, buddy?
Good. How you doing, man?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I'll kind of introduce you. This is Ryan, owner of the Farm Music Studio in London, Ontario. And,
nice to meet you.
And you as well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting new people. They got stories to tell, too.
I've picked up a few stories over the years.
I bet you have.
Oh, wait, we got Wonder Woman from Wonder Woman. She's still hot, and she's like 90.
Linda Carter.
What do you think, Ryan? Are you into comics?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. My son and I have a collection just shy of 7,000 books. So a little bit.
Done.
Yeah, we brought our kids up right.
Yeah.
How's it going, Ryan? Good to see you, bud. It's been a while.
Yeah, you too, man. How's the show's been going? You've been playing live. That's got to be feeling good.
Yeah. It's good to be back out there again. I'm loving it.
Nice.
For people that have never seen it, what we do is we go on live every Monday night, and then we put it in the bank. So if you miss it, you can watch it later type stuff. So we've got about 60 shows there now, all banked up.
Perfect.
So, so we're not really a podcast.
Just everything awesome.
That was one of the guys out here, yeah. So, Ryan, well, let's talk about legacy of Misfits.
All right.
So,
well, what can I tell you? Where do we start with something like that?
So, who are the Misfits for people that don't know?
The Misfits are just one of the most iconic punk bands from Lodi, New Jersey. I first heard them in the kind of late 80s, shortly after they broke up. And it was thanks to Metallica, with their Garage Days record. And at the time, I didn't actually know those were cover songs when I was listening, because we were in high school and just listening to tapes that friends made and stuff like that. And a friend finally told me, hey, those are actually Misfits songs. You should check it out. And by that point, Danzig had already started Sam Hain, so I was a little bit behind and kind of had to get caught up. And been a fan ever since, as you can see.
Nice.
So
Crimson Ghost,
that's who they are, and they got me hooked, and it was just something I couldn't say no to doing. It's just
right.
So what made you decide to do it? We still haven't even told people what you've done.
Right. Well, what we did is we put out a mashup compilation of 15 of my favorite Misfits songs using 32 different musicians from pretty much all over the world, mostly Southern Ontario, but we had Derek Kuhn from Burn the 8-Track out in Manitoba. We had RJ DeMarco from Fern Lane in New York, and we even had a drummer, Flo, from Austria. So it was kind of just a mashup of people that I know and wanted to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't want to interrupt you, but one of our fans is leaving us for tonight. I guess he's got to go to work. So nice having you on, mister. Join us again next Monday night.
Absolutely.
We'll be here.
Not dirty. We'll get dirty.
Yeah.
I was.
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to actually get on one of the tracks. So that's kind of actually, I think, how I met Ryan.
It is. That was the first day. Yeah, no, and that was kind of the point, right? Like the initial, thing that got me started on this particular project was the Misfits and their recordings, specifically their really, really bad recordings, is actually what was kind of the first step in me becoming an engineer and a producer, because that is the first occasion I can remember listening to the music going, God, these are great songs, but man, I really wish they were recorded better. Mm-hmm. And, there's nothing we could do about it. So, you fast forward, 30 years later, and I own my own studio. I have the capabilities to do that. And I thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just have some fun. Right. And Derek, as you'll remember, we did it very casual. It was like 3 takes per person, just because the whole point of the Misfits was they're the raw punk, it's not perfect type of thing. So I wanted to make it sound better, but I didn't want to lose the charm. And that seemed to get the vibe we were going for, and just keep it fun and light for everybody, because that's what it was supposed to be. It was just everybody that loves the Misfits coming together and just enjoying the time together, especially during COVID. We snuck it in quite a bit beforehand and during when we were able to, and it was just the thing we needed, I think.
Wow, that sounds very cool.
Took quite a long time, and I appreciate Derek's patience and everybody else, that was on the record.
But when you're working with that many people, and it's gonna take time, right? Plus, life gets in the way, right?
It does. It does, and that's why, like, I learned a lesson in doing this project, and that when I'm asking 30 some odd people to work with me, the question is not, do you want to work on this project? It's, are you available to work on this project? Because those are two completely different questions, and people always say yes to the first one, and then there's a question mark on the second one. So what happened for me is, once I realized that, I was like, you know what, I'm not the man for this job. I can't do both. I can't produce and engineer the record and coordinate with that many people. So that's where Tyler Gammon comes in. He was he's a client and a friend, and obviously a Misfits fan as well. And when he saw that I had kind of had to place the project on the back burner, he stepped up and offered to do the basically be the executive producer, just coordinate everything, and free me up to actually just work on the record. And he was a pro at it. I can't say enough good things about Tyler and how he got everybody in here. So it was
we should
great last minute
Tyler,
addition.
we should give it a little shout out to his band Hank Scorpio Simpsons, but we were just.
I'm actually working on the Hank Scorpio first single right now. Should be done. Nice. Should be out by Halloween. So we'll have more.
Well, Hank Scorpio has one of my favorite drummers in kind of the scene right now. It's Cody McGowan, but he's a great drummer. I've seen him fill in. So if you ever need a session drummer, you just need someone to fill in.
Yep.
Check out Cody. He is awesome. Total pro and a good guy.
And he saved my butt on this particular record too. He's the primary drummer.
He's on more tracks than anybody.
Yeah, no, well, this is actually a good story, and you as a drummer will appreciate this. There were supposed to be, different drummers for every song, and of course, Cody, being Cody, said, "Yeah, you know what? Any song you need me for, you just let me know." And I said, "Okay, we're good." We set up a date for him to come in, and between the time we set the date and when the date actually came, I had come to realize that we were not going to get nearly enough drummers in the door to get it done in a timely fashion. So Cody's like, "You know what? I'll just do them all. I'll do them all." And then that way you don't have to worry about it. If somebody else comes in and records over it, just take me off that song. This guy comes in and does 12 songs in 3.5 hours. Like, he was just most of what you hear from Cody are first takes, and we would do like a second and a third just to satisfy my OCD need for backups. But he just blasted through them. The guy's a machine and so easy to work with. And once we got those drums done, then that really freed the project up, because then we could start bringing in, random guitar players and bass singers as they were available. So he got us over that hump.
Yeah. Well, he got the first time I think I remember Cody was he was filling in for Tarek of Running from Daylight.
Yep.
And man, I think we played with them like 2 months before with Tarek, and then Cody filled in. I'm like, whoa, what, like, this, like, how did this guy even learn their set in that amount of time, let alone nail it like he did?
Well, I got another good Cody story for you then. In terms of, you want to hear how fast this guy learned songs. So about a year and a half ago, I'm up early one Sunday morning before the kids are up, and the partner's up, and the missus, she's still in bed. So I go out, get a coffee, and I end up driving to the beach. And I'm sitting listening to my music, and I'm like, you know what? I really want to record a cover song today. And I wanted to record a song called Skin Deep by Guns and Wankers. So I messaged Lee Resistant in Strathroy, got him out of bed, literally, like waking him up on a Sunday morning, like, "Hey dude, come on, it's time to get up." And we put out a message to I just put a message online saying, "Hey, any drummers that want to come in?" Because I didn't want to go to the well too many times on Cody, because I felt like I was riding him hard. And sure enough, within 10 minutes, he's like, "Yeah, I'm in." I'm like, do you want to know what song we're doing? He's like, no, I'm in. Just, I'm on the way. He learned the song in the car as he drove from his place to the studio.
Yep.
Got it done in, I think, I don't think he went over 3 takes on that one too.
Wow.
And it was just his capacity for learning, and then consistently, like and you could tell he's learned because he's not changing what he does between takes. So it's, like I said, he's just a wonderful drummer to work with, and we're very, very lucky to have him on this record because and I think his drumming really helped the tone of the record, much like your song, Derek. Like the House of Haunt song really took a different flavor. It kept the essence, but it adds something new to it. And Cody's drumming did that too, which is, something you don't always get out of a drummer. A lot of people sometimes don't notice what the drummer's doing, and like what you guys did and what Cody does, it gets people's attention, and it made the record better.
All the bands were punk bands as well?
Not really, and that's a thing. No. Like, I think House of Haunt was, well, actually, you can't even really call it House of Haunt.
Yeah, it was Matt.
Derek and Matthew just doing everything. Yeah. But yeah, we didn't actually have a full band do a full song. Like, so we really mixed and shuffled everybody up. So that way we had people interacting that had never played together before to see what it would sound like. And that was where a lot of the fun came in, because look at like Die Die My Darling with Anne singing vocals on that one. She sings a Nimue, she's a Tell It to Sweeney, and very kind of swing, very retro sounding, beautiful voice on this woman. And then she just comes in and kills it on a punk track. It was just like, oh, so good. And
nice.
My oldest stepdaughter, Haley, she sings backup vocals on probably 2/3 of the whole record too. And she's kind of more into like show tunes, like Hamilton,
right.
K-pop. She's 21. So we had it was primarily punk guys, but we did bring in a few people to mix things up a bit, because that was the fun of it.
And you get like Last Caress and like that's more heavier than I would say your average punk song.
Yes,
right?
Yes. Funny story about that one too. Siegfried recorded his vocals for that in his van in a parking lot in Toronto, and that's how punk rock he went with it. And it was awesome. And he was like literally at the last minute addition. Like we were literally done the mixes, and finally got his tracks in the door, and we like bam, and we got it done.
Well, it's when we did our track, I came in, the first thing, a producer wants to hear is, so I just heard the song for the first time last night.
It's like, oh,
well, Matt's like, I was new to the band. I wasn't in the band, I don't think a month. Maybe. Yeah. I was literally, I think we just announced I was in the band. And okay, Matt's like, hey, so you want to record this song? And he's like, Misfits. I'm like, okay, I know a few Misfits. And I'm like, can we do Skulls? And he's like, no. And then I'm like, can we do Die Die My Darling? And he's like, no. And he goes, you got to do, we did Hollywood Babylon. Yep. And I'm like, what?
I don't know that one.
Never heard, right? And so it was over. Matt's just like, think House of Haunt wrote it and just play it. And I'm like, okay.
Exactly. And that was the flavor they're going for, and it worked.
Yeah. It did. It put it in.
So a question there. It's like when you mentioned you got up before everyone else, you're on the beats. So when you're recording in the studio, do you do it? Is it a better time of day? Do you find some people prefer recording in the early part of the day, or at night, or really late at night, or
that's where it gets tricky. Yeah, most people prefer nights and weekends. So my weekends tend to go quickly. And because I have 4 kids, my nights are somewhat spoken for. My partner Shannon is amazing. She handles the kids great on her own, but I do try to not stay too late and get home and actually be of use. But that did contribute to the time it took for the production on this particular record, because my regular clients come in on the weekends as well. So trying to fit things in my free time Was a bit tricky, but that's where Tyler comes in, and he got us through it.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, Tyler's a good guy. Yeah, and he did. He stepped right up and helped you, not a problem, right?
Totally. And it's nice too, because we're now able to take this project and we're actually using it as a fundraiser. And without Tyler's help and your help and Cody's help and everybody's help, we wouldn't be able to do this. So we made great music that we released for free and let people choose to pay if they wanted to. And sure enough, the punk community did not let us down. We've raised a couple $100 already, which is more than people get off streaming royalties. So
is this a fundraiser you're doing right now?
We are, 100% of.
Well, tell us about it.
Yeah, 100% of anything that we get through Bandcamp will be donated to the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society in the UK to help them with their campaign to stop the slaughter of pilot whales. Now, my friend Sean Watson, who I went to high school with, and he and I started out in bands together in high school, is actually a director on Sea Shepherd because his dad and his uncle were Captain Paul Watson and then his dad. So he's very much entrenched in the organization. He's a founder, and he's incredibly passionate about the project. And I couldn't think of anybody else or a better organization to support. And I know that, the punk community in general is very aware of the Sea Shepherd group and what they do. And it's just been so nice to be able to turn around and give something back.
They're kind of like an extreme Greenpeace.
Exactly. Well, they're pirates. They make no bones about it. That's what they are. They go out there and they cause trouble.
Well, sorry, wrong side. Yep.
Where can people go online to check that out, or to?
If they just go to the musicfarm.com, which is the-music-farm.com, you can find a link to it. Yeah, there you go. You got it in there. Yeah, if they go there, you can stream it for free on our website. You can stream it for free on YouTube. Stream it for free on Bandcamp. And then if you like it and you want to support it, you can pay what you like on Bandcamp, and we'll forward it on to Sea Shepherd every 3 months.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's really cool.
What does the average seem to be that people are willing to pay for a song, roughly?
Actually, people have been buying the whole record, and we've been getting people spend like $10, $20.
Nice.
Which was a surprise. I guess I was a little pessimistic about what the response was going to be, but no, I think it's people that genuinely appreciate the music and genuinely want to help Sea Shepherd. So it was just a perfect coming together of good causes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now they had that show too, right? What was the
Whale Hunters or Whale Wars?
Whale Wars, yes.
Yeah. And and the guy, Captain Paul Watson, is my buddy Sean's uncle. So
right. Okay.
Very cool.
That's
he was like wanted all over, halfway around the world, anyways, wasn't he?
Yes, and actually, when the Prime Minister was in London about a month or so ago, Sean actually talked to him about getting his uncle back in the country. But to do that, the Canadian government would have to nullify their extradition treaty, either entirely or specifically for Sean's uncle. A bit of an uphill battle, and one that I'm sure they'll continue until they're successful, because they are nothing if not persistent.
I have noticed that watching Whale Wars. My girlfriend was into it big time.
Yep. Yeah, very motivated.
Is your friend the dark-haired guy who's the captain now? What was the Bob Barker?
Sorry, say that?
Is your friend the one?
Yes, that was the main. Yep. Yeah. Sean's been on those boats, and he's actually gone on campaigns to be there. So he's actually lived this firsthand. And that's why I felt really confident. And if we're going to give our money to anybody, that this is an organization that's just 1,000% solid. And, we know that it's going to go to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
I I remember they kept on going after. I think it was a Chinese ship. It was a huge one, and they kept on running it down like all the time. And oh man, it was crazy.
Oh, they're tenacious. Yeah, they'll just
spraying them with the water and stuff, and the little zodiacs or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, they've actually had members of their crew willing to board whaling ships and then be arrested by those governments, and then which then brings attention to what happened. Because of course these boats are claiming that they are doing scientific research, and they are of course far exceeding what is stated in law, which anything above zero is too much. But what they are legally allowed to do and what they are doing are different, and that's where Sea Shepherd comes in, and they shine a light on that, and they do it in very unconventional ways, which is very punk rock and very, very much in that kind of nihilistic, DIY attitude that we as musicians have in common with them.
Wow, very, very awesome.
Yeah, we were very lucky, and
the London scene too is very, very tight knit.
It is.
Yeah, I love. If you've never played in London, to anybody who's out there, London is one of my favorite places in Ontario to play. You go there, and it's one of the few places like bands are like, "Hey man, you want to crash at my place tonight? Yeah, come on over here. You want to shower after your show? You want to, it's great." And they seem like friends, even if they aren't friends. They seem like friends. They always, "Hey, this is my buddy." They talk good about each other. They're not trying to slag. Not that I'm saying Toronto bands do that, but it's more of a community. They get it.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do something, you got to be together.
They're more welcoming, right?
Welcoming and work together. Like, if I can't do it, well, he can.
That's nice to hear.
True. Yeah, no, and I've been very lucky that I was when I was younger and I was in my touring band, and I was able to see many cities across Canada and the United States. But yeah, coming home to London was always special, and it was always a noticeable difference, and I liked it. So,
yeah. Well, it's kind of funny that you guys are talking about punk music, because I just got cable here finally after all these years, and I was just the other night I was on, and there's a show. It was called Punk or something like that, and I watched it, and it was like a documentary on how the Sex Pistols came to the USA. Yeah. And how their music was so different, and how people were outraged, and some people loved it, and how they grew, and then other bands that came in after as well. But what a really neat show to watch for people that don't know much about that genre of music, right? Like myself, right?
Yeah. Well, George, funny story too. Did you know if you watch that enough, or if you watch like the Sid and Nancy stuff, Jerry Only from the Misfits was actually at Sid Vicious's apartment the night he died.
Wow. Really?
Like he was there hours beforehand. So the Misfits and the Sex Pistols kind of crossed paths, and he kind of just on the edge of getting caught up in that case. But thankfully he went home early.
Yeah.
Well, they brought up a lot of other neat bands after that, like the Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, DOA. Like it was a long documentary, but it was really good about the music. It was fun to watch.
DOA started the whole Bible, the tour Bible.
Yep.
And then I guess they gave it to pretty much Black Flag, right? And went here, and Black Flag filled in all the other dates. So what the Bible is basically for touring punk bands or thrash bands. It's places that would let you play and places you could pass out and crash. Just all this Bible of everything punk rock. Yes. So DOA started it and then went around. And
they actually mentioned that on the show. It was kind of cool that you say that.
Yeah, no, that's kind of neat. And so the Misfits. Now we do know there's two eras of Misfits.
Yep.
I can tell by your songs which era you're into.
Yep.
How do you feel about Mr. Michael Graves' whole stance now with the Proud Boys and everything?
Well, that is a very disappointing chapter in their history. I never actually got to see the Misfits with him in the band. He had quit or been kicked out like a week before, a couple of weeks before I actually saw them. So when I saw them, Jerry Only was singing vocals, and Zoli from Ignite was filling in. But prior to him ramming his foot all the way down his throat, I was a very big fan of his music.
So what happened there? Why did he have to leave the band?
Well, he left the band for, well, it depends on who you talk to. You know, he says that Jerry Only's a dick, and they got into a fight at Disneyland, and that was kind of the last straw for him. And Jerry Only says that
what a place to have a fight.
Apparently not the happiest place on earth if you're a punk band. But but Jerry Only and Doyle were kind of saying that his vocals were a little too bluesy for them, and I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, as it always is with band breakups.
Right.
So he went on to do his solo thing, and obviously Jerry Only carried on with a couple other guys. But yeah, as soon as he, you know, people do about, I don't know, like, I'm hoping he did a really, really bad job explaining his point of view on issues of equality and things like that. But
oh geez, okay.
I think though he needs some more time to work on himself, and we haven't written him off yet, but we'll see. We actually did have a Michael Graves era song that we were going to include on the record that Running from Daylight did.
Yes.
Okay.
And they were obviously not comfortable with what his point of view was. So once that happened, they decided to donate all of their money from that song to charity as well. I can't remember who I don't know if they donated to the ACLU, or they helped the civil rights group with their profits from that song. And we had considered including it as a bonus track on this particular record, but ultimately decided that we would just kind of hold on to it, and maybe things will turn around, and maybe Michael Graves will come to the light, and you know, we can look into doing volume 2 of Legacy of Misfits and include some.
That's what you wish
stuff
for, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, lead by example, and hope people come around.
Yeah.
Well, I met him a couple times just before we opened for him a couple times before he opened his mouth.
Yeah.
And some people should just maybe take a little less time backstage, and they gotta lay off the partying a little bit. Maybe is the way I should put it.
Very likely has something to do.
I
with
will
it.
guarantee that was pretty much a whole bunch of it.
Yeah, which I can imagine would not have gone over well with Jerry Only and Doyle, because they're both fitness guys,
workout guys.
Yeah, like Doyle's vegan, and he's got to be probably the biggest, most fit vegan I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they were older and not, you know, they've already done that, right? Like many decades before. So, you know, stuff happens. But
you got to think too. Michael Graves is our age, right?
Yes, exactly. Well,
I
think he might even
younger
be a little
guy.
bit
I think he's actually a year younger than me.
Yeah. And the thing too is,
47.
like the Misfits, for all the, you know, the fighting that they're known for, usually just amongst themselves, actually some of the nicest guys. Like Derek Kuhn from Burn the A-Track. When he was in Guy Smiley, and then once in Burn the A-Track, he actually toured Canada opening for the Misfits on a couple occasions, and he just had nothing but nice things to say about Doyle and Jerry Only. That they would like, Jerry Only would go out without his makeup on, and he would like sign autographs for people in line. He would make sure everybody got a photo. And I actually met Danzig back in the probably 1991 when he released his second album, and he was the same way. He was so nice. He came out of the bus. He had his bodyguards with him, And of course, like a group of 50 of us just dogpiled him. And his bodyguard was like not having any of it. But he was totally cool. He stood outside. He signed everything. He took a photo with everybody. And then before he left, he stopped and he said to the whole group, he's like, "Did everybody get anything? Did I miss anybody?" He's like, "If I did, let me know," because he wasn't.
Oh, that's
leave.
cool. That's
and that was
really
just
cool.
it was just such a nice. It was so cool, and that was. And once I became a touring musician myself, I kind of learned that meeting your idols can be a bit risky because they're not always as nice as we want them to be. So on that occasion, I was like, "Oh my God, thank God this guy was that cool," because it just reinforces everything that, I love about his music. So
yeah. No,
especially meeting someone after a show, right? They've been up on stage, maybe they're tired, they're thirsty, they're horny, whatever. They got something on their mind, and they just want to get the hell out of there, right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
no, he was.
That too. Even musicians have a bad day. Like, you just never know, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the nicest guys I've ever met was Tim Skold. He's the bass player for Marilyn Manson. You would think being in, Marilyn Manson, he's a little bit of a freak, but the guy comes in, he's just, "Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you." And he's very humble. And like, this guy is one of the most talented musicians I've ever met. And just, as I said, he was the nicest guys. We're going out for vegan food now. Do you want to come? Like, whoa,
Yeah. No, that's the best part. That's great. And I love that too, when guys are that nice and that approachable, because like I had an experience like that. I used to be I still am a huge Pennywise fan.
Right.
So their guitar player, Fletcher, was like, I was always wanted the Fletcher guitar tone. I was just chasing it for years. I actually paid to go into a studio in Burlington to take my amp in and have the engineer help me get that tone. But you fast forward about 15 years, I was running a website called punkhardcore.com. And at the time, we were like the largest punk site on the internet. We had like 1 million users. And I could get interviews with pretty much anybody I wanted. So when Pennywise was in Toronto, Epitaph Records hooked me up with an interview. And the rep from Epitaph, we're at the warehouse in Toronto. And the other bar is closed. So she takes us over to the other bar and she says, "You can do your interview here." So I sit down with him and I do my interview and we talk for about 30 minutes. And he's got his roadie bringing him White Russians and he's drinking and he's talking, and the interview's done. And he's like, "I'm good." He goes, you want to hang out? And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man." He's like, I'm like, "As a matter of fact, I'm actually like a really big fan. And I have a ton of questions if you don't mind." And we ended up talking for about 3 hours. He actually got in trouble that night because he was supposed to be warming up and nobody could find him, because we were just off in this other bar for 3-4 hours. And then we were walking around backstage, just hanging out. And finally the rep from Epitaph comes running up going, "Where have you been? You're supposed to be ready. You're going on stage." And it was just the coolest night. And it was just because he was a genuinely cool guy that just wanted to get to know everybody. It was great.
Yeah.
That's what I find too. Some of the best, nicest, most professional people anywhere sometimes, and I'm not going to say like Hugh Dillon as Ringo's putting up, but they are genuinely the nicest people. Like, they're easy to get along with. They say yes to everything. I find that too. If you say yes to everything, you will go a lot farther. And if you say yes to everything and do everything that you say yes to, it really helps.
Oh, totally. Like, I had a similar experience too. Like, I ended up in San Francisco at one point in time at the Fat Records office. And I thought I was going in there to interview my contact at Fat Records because they did a lot of advertising with us. And I just wanted, the idea was to do a story of like, what does an independent punk record label actually look like on the inside? And it turned out that Fat Mike was there. And they're like, no, you're actually going to be interviewing Fat Mike and his wife, Erin. And I was like, "Oh, geez."
Yeah.
And same thing. We go into his office and we just talk forever. And it changed from an interview to we're going to do like a Fat Records punkhardcore.com tour. Like, he was just that cool. He's like, he goes, "Obviously I can't give you like Lagwagon and Good Riddance, but we can start you with some of the, newer bands and work your way up." And came time to do photos, and he takes his shirt off, and his wife's like rolling her eyes. She's like, "Oh, that's his thing now. He's got every time he takes a photo, he's got to take his top off." And he was so proud because they just won the punk rock bowling tournament the year before. So he had his trophy with him, and it's just. And you would never think that for him because No Effects is known for hard partying, drugs, being drunk all the time, and yet in his office he was just a sweetheart. He just it was so. But very lucky.
I don't know if you've ever watched or listened to the podcast that one time on tour. Okay, Chris Sweeney. Well, he's. I remember listening to Mike because it's basically everyone on Fat Records is on this. Anyways, they always say that he is like the nice asshole. Like, he'll be like a dick to you, but in a big brother or cousin type of way.
Well, he doesn't sugarcoat anything, and
like
the thing, like he tells bands like, hey, that I got your record. These songs are good. These songs suck. Let's work on those type of thing. And he's just straight to the point and quite. I was very surprised when I met him because I thought I was expecting him to be drunk and high, basically, and stone cold sober, 100% business, 100% focused, and I was just like, it was just a very interesting encounter that was very memorable.
Right on. So,
hey, our co-host Mr. Johnny Ringo's sending us message. He's watching.
Yeah. You, Dylan, from the Headstones. What a treat. So, because Ringo's told me the story a couple times, I guess he's worked with him when at the music hall there in Oshawa.
Right.
And I guess he's a little movie starish more than rock starish. So he's got a little bit more of an attitude than others. But maybe that was just because he was talking to Ringo. And I don't know, if you talk to Ringo for more than 5 minutes.
Right on, man. That's cool.
Well, George.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Your backside.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we've got to cut you off here for a second, Ryan, but we got this little piece of trivia that has been bothering me.
All right.
And it's something about a show. So I can't. What George does is he shows the backside of an album, and it's George's backside.
Well, show it again, George. Yeah. Bring it back up.
Well, if you run those messages back, I think somebody got it just as Ryan came on. I didn't want to.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think they got it. It's obviously.
Well, is it Ringo Starr?
Is it Ringo Starr?
Yeah. Okay, so the message, it's the Star that gave it away. So the message is not right. The guy said ringing star.
Well, I'm taking that. Yeah, I'm taking that as
that was Rhonda. Sorry,
but I think I know what she means, right?
You think it's ringing star?
I think what's it? Predictive text, whatever it's called. I think that's
that's
all right,
Rhonda.
Coming
back.
You win.
There it is.
Yeah,
nice.
That's
wow. Yeah. There you go.
I'm like, I know this.
I could have shown it. There's a couple of right there. It's just got nothing but stars on it.
Yeah.
But
all right, Rhonda, you win.
Rhonda, well done.
I was actually I go to a jam on Friday nights. I live out in this farm community basically. So there's this ghost town, and I go there on Friday nights. And Rhonda, well, she goes there. She also, we advertised it for a little while. There was a thing called Farm Jam.
Yeah,
she had that on it here.
Yeah,
her and her husband Gary were the hosts of it, and it went over pretty good. I heard for the first one. Yep. I think there was over 300 people, so not bad for a little partying.
So who did you think? Who did you think it was going to be, Derek?
I knew it was something like that. I knew it was. All I can picture is like theater, and I'm trying to think the show. Yeah. For some reason, I had a little bit of Queen in my head, but I knew it wasn't Queen.
Right. On the subject of records and that, I always like to ask this of our guests. So, Ryan, what was the first? I'm assuming it's going to be a punk record of some sort. What was the first record you ever bought?
First record I ever bought would have been Suicidal Tendencies. Join the Army.
All right. Okay.
Skate. They possessed the Skate music video, and probably saw that in a Skate video or heard it in a Skate video, and then bought the record.
Wow.
Nice.
And that was just the start of going down the rabbit hole.
You still have it?
I do still have it. I do still have the vinyl. I got the 12-inch downstairs in my collection.
Right on.
That, I was actually planning to frame a bunch of them and put them in the studio here.
Nice.
So do you keep your vinyl right next to the comic books?
They actually are on the same shelf. We have like we have a finished basement in our house, and it's all comic books, video games, action figures, and our movies. The kids love it. I'm a big kid myself, so I love it too.
Yeah, why not?
Nothing wrong with that. So, are you a DC guy or a Marvel guy?
Whoa, that's a tough question.
Here we go.
Marvel, Wolverine, G.I. Joe, DC, Batman, and the other offshoots that they do is my thing. So it depends. It depends. I find that Marvels, if I'm in the mood for something a little more lighthearted, I go Marvel. A little darker, I go DC.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the movies and TV shows are completely different too. So it's
Well, I also firmly believe that every guy or every person who likes cartoons likes Batman, has to like Batman, because he, as everybody knows, he is the only one who is a human who's just got money and makes stuff.
He has no power.
He's got toys.
Self-made man.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually
playing. Wait a second. Now that I'm thinking about that I just said that, Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
You got Stark. It's not really super.
Yeah, but Iron Man came later, right? He was the predecessor to James Bond. He had all the toys, right?
Okay,
he was a guy, and
I never heard.
They invented stuff, and he had all the toys.
Yeah.
He had the belts. He had all the special underwear. Like, he had all the toys, and that's what's cool about it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing with Iron Man though is that's why Captain America is always riding Iron Man's ass, saying you're relying on your armor. You need to train. And that's where Batman comes back into the picture as being the perfect fit, because that's what he does. Discipline, trains, has his gadgets, but can get by without them. So that's why my son and I.
There's something. My wife and I were just saying this last night. There are so many action movies out there, right? With all our action heroes. I want to try and find a list, because I've heard there is an order to watch them in from start to finish. All these movies, because characters get introduced and this and this. So I want to find that list, and I want to get all my movies together and start at the beginning and watch it.
Yeah, we've done that before. Yeah. It takes like a week, so like especially with the Marvel.
That's fine.
Yeah, just like the Marvel universe alone will take you forever. And then if you get into the animated movies too, then that's like a whole other level of going Marvel deep down.
Lego.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great. So, and we do that.
We play that on PlayStation.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm actually playing Batman Arkham Knight right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's it's been my thing for like 3 days now.
Wow.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Damn. I love that. Playing video games too.
Well, I have 3 boys, so the fact that you
got to be in there.
Yeah, it's like they constantly keep me on my toes.
Do you play Fortnite?
I refuse to play Fortnite, but only because I don't have the trash talking down like these kids do, and like it's like a next level trash talking.
Yeah,
and I don't know
you're right.
slang, and I used the slang wrong, and then my kids' eyes roll into the back of their heads, and
Oh my God!
Not my dad.
Yeah, you're so embarrassing. Don't do that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave myself out of this one. I did dabble in a bit of Minecraft though in the beginning when they were getting started, but yeah, I skipped out on Fortnite.
After I saw my son's Minecraft castle house, whatever it is that he built, I was like, man, you should become like a designer or something. Like, he's got, Dad, check out this underground pool. It's 10 acres.
Yeah.
Oh, they can do some amazing stuff. Fun stuff though too. Our two youngest, Jake and Jack, my partner Shannon, she comes to me 2 weeks ago. She says the boys are having a Minecraft divorce. I was like, what the hell is that? She's like, well, they're gonna separate their stuff from the server they're on. And I was like, are you messing with me? I'm like, is that really a real thing? She's like, yeah, it is. There's actually like a function to divide the assets in the game for people who don't get along. And I was just like, oh my God, video games have come so far since I was a kid. And we're now getting divorced in the video game.
When I was playing with my son on Fortnite, I'm obviously I'm a Battlefield guy. I don't know if you know video, Battlefield that's my thing. I've played it for the last 15 years. So this whole building I don't get it. So I'm playing, and this guy all of a sudden comes up, and they not hackers. What do they call them? Scammers. Or basically, they try and see if you will scam them.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you scam them, they all of a sudden just take everything you own, your house, your wife, your kids, the car, the whole thing. And so this one kid comes up to me and he's like, hey man, you want to check out this? And it's a level 135 gun, right?
Yeah.
Here, try this gun out. I'm like, cool. And he's like, okay, you gonna give that back to me now? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Let me just figure out how to do it. And he's like, oh, you got to do this. And he's like, dude, why are you even playing? And I'm like, because I want to get good for my son.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And I said, I'm trying to get better so my son will play with me because I really suck. And he's like, oh man. And he calls his other buddy who's in the room that I don't know they're connected, a party chat, right?
Yep.
And he comes out into the open. He's like, yeah, hey, how's it going? He's like, but and so these two guys, they play off of each other, and that's how they get you from scamming, right? The one guy will throw you something easy and then take everything that you own. The other guy takes everything you own. But so these guys all of a sudden go, you really want to play with your son? I said, yeah. And I gave him his name and stuff, right? Like on the computer, and they check it out. And the guy starts going, you should play with, he finds my son's game and starts going, you should play with your dad and all this stuff. Well, Buddy gave me all these legendary swords and guns and all this stuff. And he's like, here, man, go play with your son. And I'm like, holy crap. Yeah. So there are some good guys.
There are some nice people out
there. To hear these guys rip people apart, as you were saying, the chirping they do, holy crap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My boys learned about teabagging at a way too young of an age, all because of Fortnite and stuff like that. And
oh my God, really?
So awkward conversations to have. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
it is what it is. Well, it's funny too. I remember years ago, I was in an EB Games, and my son Ash, who's named after Ash from Army of Darkness,
of course.
He wants to get the new Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, no problem, whatever. We go up to the counter, and the guy at the counter is like, "Are you really sure that you want to buy this for him?" I'm like, yeah, I'm like, no, he's good. He knows what he's doing. He goes, yeah, but do you know there's a part in here where you actually have to beat prostitutes? And I was like, okay.
You just don't do that for fun?
Well, I don't know. So I was like, okay, no, that one's new to me. And I look at Ash, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm good. He knew that was going to lead to a conversation. He was just like, I'll get something else. So
my son's 9, and I guess it was last week. He said to my girlfriend, "Hey, what's masturbating?" At 9, and they are learning things a little earlier nowadays because of all this.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know, but there was a game back a while, it was called Kingpin. You ever hear about that one?
Not offhand.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, and you were just dropped in the dirty part of a city with nothing, and you had to survive. And the first thing that you actually find is a lead pipe. So now you're beating people with your pipe to get stuff. It's wild. And their kneecaps that explode, and then you get the hookers, and you get like the dirty, seedy part of the city. That's where you start playing this game, Kingpin. And I was like, oh my God, it was so graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you have to know. You have to know what your kids are playing. is what I'm trying to say, right?
I just keep on trying to get my son to play Pong.
Yeah.
Same thing.
We
bought those little Nintendo things, the ones that came out with a few years ago that had like all the games on it. And we thought Shannon and I were like, oh my God, the kids are going to love this. Not at all. Didn't register on the radar whatsoever. So she and I play it now.
Yeah. No. Well, what I'm finding too, like, I kept on buying bigger TVs, and I'm like, wow, I can see so much better to shoot all these people, right? Yep. And my son, he likes to play everything on his iPad. I'm like, bud, you don't want to watch this on a big monitor or a big? No, this is fine here.
Yep. No, our kids are the same way too. They are content on the weirdest things sometimes, and we're happy.
What was the one thing that you bought or got that helped you immensely, that gave you an advantage playing video games?
That's a good question. God, back in the day, like back in like the early PlayStation days, it was the guidebooks you could get for like Resident Evil and stuff like that to finish the game. Those were because up until then, video games were not meant to be beaten. Like old early arcade games, like couldn't be beaten. They just got progressively harder and harder. So when I started into the PlayStation with Resident Evil and games like that, using those guidebooks to actually be able to complete the game was, I think, what was like, okay, this is another chapter in video games now. Like there's an ending, there's a goal to get to, and I can learn how to do that. And I think that kept me interested.
Yeah.
For me, it was surround sound. Because I used to play Unreal Tournament, so you're playing Capture the Flag or all these other games, and you're running, you have the flag, let's say, and you can hear footsteps behind you. You know there's someone chasing you.
Yeah.
So you bomb around the corner, you turn around, you jump, and they're there, and boom, you nail them, dead.
Yeah.
Or you can hear the rocket coming at you from behind you, so you sidestep. And my buddy's like, "What the hell? How'd you get so damn good?" That was the biggest thing that helped me, was the surround sound.
Well, and as an audio engineer, I definitely appreciate a good surround sound system on video games too. Because I play one of my main games I like to play is Fallout. Fallout 76 and stuff like that. And it's the same thing too. Is very much uses the audio to help you identify your environment where you are. And of course, as an engineer, I'm a bit more geeky and nerdy when it comes to stuff like that, and I definitely appreciate when I hear something cool like that. Because I know the work that went into doing it.
Yep.
See, speaking of PlayStation, so in PlayStation era, let's go PlayStation 1. What was the game that you got hooked? For me, there was two of them. It was Cool Borders and Tekken.
For me, it was Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Yeah, okay.
I played that I remember playing that game thinking, God, I've been through this whole mansion. I've got to be close to the end. And then you come to find out that's like the first 10% of the whole game. Yeah. Cool Borders. Actually, I still have an original PlayStation, and I got Cool Borders downstairs, and Tomb Raider, of course. You couldn't go wrong with those.
See, for me, I was never in the beginning. I was never much of a console guy. I was a PC guy.
Yep.
And what I found there too is you could program your keyboard, and I had a mouse that had buttons on the side of it and all this stuff. I could program all that, and the mobility I had was extreme. It was so cool. You could step sideways, and turn and jump and do it all at the same time because you had so many movements available to you, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I liked.
Yeah, by the time video games got to that point for me, I had been starting to use my computer for work stuff. So I think in my head I separated the two out, which is why I ended up on a console more than anything.
Right.
But yeah, it was because I used to play like back in the day, like the Amiga and the Commodore 64 type of thing. You know, with we used to play like Police Quest and just crazy games like
Read on Fort Knox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we did. We were on the computers when graphics first came out. The computers that we were working on could only type text.
Yeah.
And then when they had graphics, meant it could draw lines. That was pretty much it, right?
Oh, it's crazy too. Like I actually just noticed the other day, doing some of this Batman stuff. Like I'm playing on the PS4, but I actually saw some videos from somebody on a PC, and I was just like, "Wow, the quality of the graphics was night and day,
it's superior,
100% noticeable." Yeah, there's no argument there. So
well,
that did make
we used
me
to go
reconsider.
With the PC, you go and you can buy upgraded memory or video cards, right?
Yep.
And then back in the day, I got into these, and that jumped me up above everybody else that I was playing with. They had a series of cards called the Voodoo cards, and you could actually buy these, and you could piggyback 2 cards together for graphics.
Yep.
So yeah, you're looking at that, and you're going, "Oh my God, it's so nice, right?" And smooth. So there's no lag, there's no nothing. It's like right on. Yeah.
Oh, much more stable too. Like the Fallout games on the console, they just crash all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah. Totally. You know, it's like steampunk, but just constant. You know, that's just it's just part of the game. You get used to it.
Yeah. I've been getting into mobile games lately, like COD Mobile.
Oh yeah.
That kind of reminds me of when I first got into games. You know what I mean? It's not as hard. You don't have to do missions and stuff. It's just go out and shoot. Team, kill. I've been waiting for my PlayStation 5 because, as everybody knows, they're hard as hell to get. So my daughter asked if she could borrow my PlayStation. So I let her have it. So I started playing COD Mobile. I'm like, this is actually kind of fun. It's like back to playing video games at the beginning again.
Yep.
My son Ash had just a huge 15-year-old emotional video game roller coaster a couple of weeks ago. His PS4 controller broke, so he was pretty bummed out. And but I was like, no worries. You know, his grandma said she's like, I'll take you to Best Buy. We'll get it doing. So he went from being really depressed to like super happy. And they get to Best Buy, and he calls me. He's like, oh, they don't make PlayStation 4 controllers anymore. Cool. I'm like, oh, okay, don't worry. You know, we'll get you like a knockoff one or something. And he's like, all right. So then he's depressed again. Calls back 30 seconds later. He's like, I just saw a guy go out the door with a PS5. He's like, can we get one? And I'm like, hell yes, we can. And I'm like, if they've got one there, you get it right now. He's like, he's like, even if it's the one with the disc, that's $1,000. And I'm like, yes. And you can just hear it in his voice. He's just like, okay. He's like so excited again. And he calls back a couple minutes later. He's like, the guy got the last one. He's like, he walked out with the last one. And he's like, there's a whole like stack of PlayStation 5s. He's like, they're empty boxes for display. Yep. He was so annoyed. He was just like, he just got absolutely crushed. And by that point, he was like, I don't even care about this controller thing anymore. You know, I have trust issues and.
Well, that's the one I've been waiting for, right? The one with disc, because I want the playback. You know what I mean? I keep and it hasn't been playback for years, so I want the playback because I don't want to keep on buying, and I can use 4 and 5 and hopefully maybe even 6. Some will work in it. Who knows? Probably not. But I'm getting to the age now where I don't spend all that time. I'm going to soccer games with the kids, and you know. Yep. It's more time out rather than more dad time sitting there going, Friday night. Sorry, guys.
Well, I see my son, or actually all 3 of my sons, so often they're just like they'll be moping around the house, and Shannon and I be like, go do something. They're like, well, we're waiting for this install to download. And I'm like, I just stick the disc in and call it a day.
Go,
get it done. Just get down to business.
Mm-hmm. That's why I still have the original Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I've got 53 games for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even have a spare console in case something happens to the original one.
Oh, you gotta have parts backups.
I got the Sega 16 still.
Wow.
I did have the Master System, the one that looks like a pyramid. I used to have it, but I was with a bad chick and she got rid of it.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's happened to the best.
So here's a skill testing question for you. What was the first video game that Nintendo came out with for their Nintendo console?
Would have been Mario.
Everyone's going to say Mario Brothers.
Donkey Kong, wasn't it?
No.
Huh.
It was a game called Gyromite.
Oh, Gyromite.
You remember that?
Is that the one that used the robot?
It's just this. Yeah, it's this dude that walks along, and you have your two A and B buttons on your control that opens and closes valves, and you got to walk. You got to walk them across the screen. And I have that game, and I have the robot that goes with it.
Nice. Yeah. See, when I
was
a
an
kid,
actual robot. It had like two tops that are battery powered, and you use one controller to control the robot, and he puts the tops on top of these stands that controls the actual TV, the dude on the TV. So it's kind of a chain. It's really hard to play, but I have that, and it's so cool.
It's badass.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Well, gentlemen, it is after.
When I was a kid, when that came out, a friend of my dad's had that too. Like when it was like brand new, and really really expensive, and of course we weren't allowed to touch it. So it just to this day, I've never actually been able to play with one, and there's like always a little bit of me that was like, I don't want to play with that robot.
Well, we'll have to get it set up, and we'll get together one day and we'll play it.
You got a date. Fun. I will hold you to
it. That's cool. Yeah, holy shit. We killed the show already, didn't we?
We did.
Jeez. I have the ability to talk long, so that's probably my fault.
That's good. That's what we like.
Is there any last things you want to throw out there, Ryan? You want to tell the people out there listening and watching?
Tell us where we can get Misfits.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we covered it, but just you go into the Music Farm's website, which is still at the bottom of the scrreen there. You can find us on the social media on Facebook and Instagram, which will then always get you to the record as well as everything else that we do at Music Farm here. And just a big thank you again to Tyler Gammon for coming in and helping get this project done, and of course the 32 musicians that were nice enough to donate their time and come in and help me with it. I really appreciate it. And to people like yourselves for helping us spread the word, because we're doing something good with it and it feels really good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Excellent. We'll always be here to help you with that kind of stuff. We like to help bands or organizations that are just trying to do good stuff out there. So we know how hard it is to get the word out, right?
Well, and that's the thing, like it's, I was so proud the other day when I had seen that one of our Legacy of Misfits posts had reached almost 8,000 people in 7 days. And that's without having to boost it. And that's just because there's so many great like-minded people in the circle that we run in. And when you see something like that, that just reinforces that, that DIY punk rock ethic that just, I've been in love with since high school. So, well,
and when something cool comes up in the future and you want, get a hold of Derek or one of us, and we'll sure to help you out.
Well, we are actually, this is actually the last thing maybe I can leave you guys with. We are actually planning another project. It's going to be called The Canadian Way, and it's going to be all Canadian punk songs that were influential to me and to the other people that are going to be involved. So probably end up seeing Derek behind the drum kit here at the Music Farm, hopefully.
So
that's going to be, it's going to be all, like I said, all Canadian bands, all older stuff, and we're hoping to have that out within a year. So,
are you talking like everything, like Gordon Lightfoot, like anything, or
I'm open to anything at this point. We are likely going to be skewed more towards the punk rock side, like DOA, Forgotten Rebels, stuff like that. But everything's on the table at this point.
I'm actually playing a Forgotten Rebels song right now.
Yeah. So anything that's going to be cool, I'm up for, because that's the point of these projects, right? You just do something new and
because you love it.
See what comes up. Yeah, it's the process that's fun. That's why we do it.
All right. So, well, thank you very much, Ryan. It was great having you on.
Thank you very much.
And I want to thank my co-host George and Derek. Johnny tonight.
Johnny tonight.
And I also want to thank a couple of fans that were part of the show. Mr. 999, who was there for most of the beginning. It's pretty good. Hopefully he'll be back. And Gigi and Rhonda and Junior. It was great having you on. And we're going to see you guys all next Monday night right here at 9:30 on the Heikadelic Show. Take care, guys. Have a great week.
See you later.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, that's another wrap for the Heikadelic Show, folks, so time to get dirty. And don't forget, listen in next week on Monday night and every Monday after that for the Heikadelic Show at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like more information on the Heikadelic Show, please find us at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. We'll see you all next week on the Heikadelic Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Heikadelic Show, it's easy. Just send us an email at info@theheikedelicshow.com. Meanwhile, you can browse our website at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. Click on our sponsor tab and find out more information on sponsorships. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show, fans.
Good evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show. We would like to take this moment to let you know that viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. So sit back, have yourself a nice cool drink or hot drink, and enjoy the show.